Hi, a film that I've had on Blu-ray for quite a while and finally got round to watching last weekend is Captured, directed by John Krish. Krish has had quite an eclectic career and is probably most recognisable for the many public information films he worked on, including some that were even withdrawn from exhibition because they were felt to be too extreme. Captured is not a film intended for general audiences. It was actually produced as an army training film intended to portray through a dramatic narrative how to resist the interrogation and brainwashing techniques of North Korean and Chinese military forces if you're captured out in the field. However, the film, when it was completed, was shown to senior officers who felt that it was actually possibly damaging to morale for it to be exhibited in that way. So the film wound up being shelved and kept in the archives of the Imperial War Museum for over 50 years until it was eventually released by the BFI in 2013. It's an unusual film. As I say, it's a narrative structure, and it can be watched as a conventional film. It's rather short; it's only an hour and 4 minutes, and I am left wondering what possible use it could have been as a training film because it doesn't really offer any helpful advice or information as to what one can do. Instead, the film is set entirely within the confines of a prison camp, apart from one short scene showing a character's background. And it's about the ways that the captors operate a policy of divide and conquer, of finding out information, of picking out the weak person and pumping information out of them and using it to exploit against the others. They are not referred to as prisoners, but as pupils to be re educated in the ways of communism. And the film focuses largely on an intelligence operative who is deliberately caught, or allows himself to be caught, rather. But because he is an old friend of one of the existing captors, the commandant already knows a great deal about him. The film is very much unvarnished and has a very rough tone to it. There's no music score. It's filmed out in the wilds of what looks like Snowdonia, intended to be the North Korean highlands. And it has a cast of uncredited, largely unknowns, although there are some recognizable faces. Most obviously, Wilfrid Brambell, who managed to look old even when he was young. It's an effective and unnerving story of people under extreme duress, but who manage to find the courage to at least look their captors in the face and say no, even if the resistance to waterboarding, possibly the earliest example of contemporary waterboarding in cinema, um, is a little more unbelievable than I would have expected. But it's an interesting film. Certainly, it's not a huge strain on your time, and if it does happen to come your way, it's, I think, worth seeing, if only for Krish's pedigree and its rather unique background.